stop everything you're doing right now. What I'm about to tell you will fundamentally change how you see your entire financial life. You weren't supposed to succeed financially. You were programmed to fail. And the programming started so early, so subtly, that you never even noticed it happening. By the time you turned 40, the system had already won. But here's the thing. Once you see the programming, once you understand how they did it, you can break free. You can reprogram yourself. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the next 30 minutes. So if you're over 40 and you're tired of being broke, tired of feeling trapped, tired of wondering why everyone else seems to be winning while you're stuck, then you need to hear this. Because this isn't about motivation. This isn't about working harder. This is about deprogramming decades of financial sabotage that was installed in your brain before you were old enough to question it. Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me. Drop a comment right now and tell me what city and country you're watching from. I want to see how global this financial programming really is. Are you in Los Angeles, London, Toronto, Sydney, Mumbai? Let me know where you are. And while you're down there in the comments, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because the content on this channel is specifically designed to break the financial programming that's been keeping you poor. If this video makes you uncomfortable, if it challenges everything you thought you knew about money, then smash that like button. That discomfort means the deprogramming has already started. Now let's get into this. You're over 40 years old, maybe 45, maybe 50, maybe 55. And when you look at your bank account, something doesn't add up. You've worked your entire adult life. You've been responsible. You've paid your bills. You've done everything you were supposed to do. So why are you still struggling? Why are you still living paycheck to paycheck? Why do you have more stress about money now than you did when you were 25? The answer is going to make you angry, but it's also going to set you free. You were programmed to fail financially, and I can prove it. Let me take you back to when you were 5 years old. You're sitting in your living room, and you hear your parents talking about money. Maybe they're arguing about bills. Maybe they're stressed about rent. Maybe one of them just said something like, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, or rich people are greedy. You didn't think anything of it at the time. You were just a kid, but in that moment, something happened in your brain. A belief was installed. A program was written. And that program has been running your financial life ever since. You were taught that money is scarce, that rich people are bad, that wanting more money makes you selfish, that you should be grateful for what you have, that money causes problems, that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and there's nothing you can do about it. Think about what you were taught in school. Did anyone teach you how to build wealth? Did anyone teach you how to invest? How to start a business? How to create multiple income streams? How to use debt strategically? How to minimize taxes legally? No, they taught you to sit still, follow instructions, memorize information, take tests, and get a job. The entire education system was designed to produce obedient employees, not wealthy entrepreneurs, not financially free individuals. Obedient employees who would work for 40 years, pay their taxes, consume products, stay in debt, and never question the system. You were literally programmed to be a wage slave, and you didn't even know it was happening. Then you entered the workforce, and the programming continued. You were told that a good job with benefits is the key to success, that you should climb the corporate ladder, that if you work hard and stay loyal, the company will take care of you, that you need to save for retirement, that you should invest in a 401k, that buying a house is the American dream, that debt is normal, that credit cards are convenient, that you need a new car every few years, that you deserve to treat yourself, that you should keep up with the Joneses. Every single one of these messages was designed to keep you broke, to keep you working, to keep you consuming, to keep you in debt, to keep you dependent on the system. Because if you become financially free, you stop being controllable, you stop being predictable, you stop being profitable for the system. And now you're over 40, and you're looking around wondering why you're still struggling, why you don't have the wealth you thought you'd have by now, why retirement seems impossible, why you're still worried about money after working for 20 or 30 years. And the answer is simple. The programming worked. They got you, but here's what they didn't count on. You're here. You're watching this video. You're starting to see the truth. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you understand how you were programmed, you can begin the deprogramming process. You can rewrite the code. You can take control of your financial destiny. But it's going to require you to question everything you've been taught, everything you believe about money, everything you think is normal, because normal is broke. Normal is stressed. Normal is trapped. And you don't want to be normal. Let me break down the specific programs that were installed in your mind and how each one sabotaged your financial success. Program number 1 is money is scarce and hard to get. You were taught that money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to work hard for every dollar, that there's never enough. This program creates a scarcity mindset that makes you afraid to spend, afraid to invest, afraid to take risks, and constantly anxious about money. The truth? Money is abundant. There are trillions of dollars circulating in the economy right now. The only scarcity is in your mind. Wealthy people understand this. They see opportunities everywhere. They know money flows to value, and they position themselves in that flow. But you are taught to see limitations instead of possibilities, to focus on what you don't have instead of what you could create. Program number 2 is rich people are greedy and evil. You were taught that wealth comes from exploitation, that rich people got rich by taking advantage of others, that money corrupts, that it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter heaven. This program creates guilt around wanting wealth. It makes you unconsciously sabotage your own success because deep down, you don't want to be one of those people. The truth? There are good and bad people at every income level. Wealth amplifies who you already are. If you're a good person, having more money lets you do more good. Some of the most generous, impactful, helpful people in the world are wealthy, but you were programmed to resent them instead of learning from them. Program number 3 is you need a good job to be successful. You were taught that getting a degree, finding a stable job with benefits, and working your way up is a path to financial security. This program makes you trade time for money in a linear relationship that caps your earning potential. The truth? A job is the slowest path to wealth. When you have a job, your income is directly tied to your time, and you only have 24 hours in a day. Wealthy people understand leverage. They build systems, create assets, and generate income that isn't dependent on their personal time. They own businesses. They invest in real estate. They create intellectual property. They build equity. They scale. But you were taught to climb a ladder that doesn't lead to financial freedom. It leads to a slightly better retirement package. Program number 4 is debt is normal and necessary. You were taught that everyone has debt. Student loans are just part of going to college. Car payments are how you get a vehicle. Mortgages are how you buy a house. Credit cards are convenient. This program normalizes being in debt your entire life, which means you're always paying interest, always working to pay someone else, always trapped in the cycle. The truth? Debt is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used wisely or foolishly. Rich people use debt strategically to acquire assets that generate income. Poor people use debt to finance consumption that depreciates. You were taught to use debt to buy things that lose value. Cars, electronics, vacations, clothes, things that make you look successful while actually keeping you poor. But nobody taught you to use debt to buy things that generate cash flow, rental properties, businesses, income-producing assets. That's because they don't want you building wealth. They want you servicing debt. Program number 5 is you should save money in a bank account. You were taught to save for a rainy day, to have an emergency fund, to put your money in a savings account where it's safe. This program makes you think you're being responsible when you're actually losing money to inflation every single year. The truth? Saving money in a bank account is financial suicide in an inflationary environment. Your money loses purchasing power every year. The interest rates banks pay don't even come close to keeping up with inflation. You're literally getting poorer by trying to be responsible. Wealthy people understand that cash is trash. They keep enough for emergencies and liquidity, but they put the rest to work. They invest in assets that appreciate. Stocks, real estate, businesses, commodities, things that grow faster than inflation. But you were taught to save, to be safe, to avoid risk, and in doing so, you guaranteed that you'd never build significant wealth. Program number 6 is you can't afford to invest. You were taught that investing is for rich people, that you need a lot of money to start, that it's complicated and risky, that you should wait until you have more money. This program keeps you on the sidelines while the wealthy get wealthier through compound growth. The truth? You can start investing with tiny amounts of money. You can buy fractional shares. You can invest in index funds. You can start a side business with almost no capital. The barrier isn't money. It's knowledge and psychology. But you were programmed to believe investing isn't for people like you. So you never learned. You never started. And decades passed while compound interest worked its magic for everyone except you. Program number 7 is you should buy things to show you're successful. You were taught that success looks like a nice car, a big house, designer clothes, expensive watches, exotic vacations. This program makes you spend money on things that depreciate to impress people you don't even like. The truth? Most people who look rich are broke. They're drowning in debt. They're one emergency away from financial disaster. Real wealthy people often live below their means. They drive normal cars. They live in normal houses. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They're too busy building actual wealth to care about appearances. But you were programmed to confuse looking successful with being successful. And that confusion has kept you trapped in the consumption cycle. Program number 8 is you need to work hard to make money. You were taught that hard work equals success, that you should put in your time, pay your dues, work your way up, that if you're not working hard, you don't deserve success. This program glorifies struggle and makes you feel guilty for wanting easier ways to make money. The truth? Hard work alone doesn't create wealth. Smart work creates wealth. Leverage creates wealth. Systems create wealth. The hardest working people in the world are often the poorest. Construction workers, farmers, factory workers. They work incredibly hard, but don't build wealth because they're trapped in the time for money equation. Wealthy people work smart. They build once and profit forever. They create systems that work without them. They use other people's time, money, and resources. But you were taught to grind, to hustle, to trade your hours for dollars. And that programming guaranteed you'd never scale beyond your personal capacity. Program number 9 is retirement is when life begins. You were taught to work for 40 years, save a little bit in a 401k, and then finally enjoy life when you're 65 and hopefully still healthy enough to do so. This program makes you defer living. It makes you sacrifice your best years. It makes you accept a mediocre existence now for a promise of freedom later that may never come. The truth? Retirement is a scam. It was invented by corporations and governments to make sure you stayed productive and didn't question the system. Why would you wait until you're old to enjoy life? Why would you give the best years of your life to a company that sees you as a replaceable resource? Why would you bet your future on a system that could collapse or change the rules at any moment? Wealthy people don't wait for retirement. They build financial freedom now. They create lives they don't need to retire from. They design their days around what they want to do, not what they have to do. But you were programmed to wait, to defer, to accept delayed gratification that may never come. These 9 programs were installed in your mind before you were old enough to question them, and they've been running in the background of your life ever since, quietly sabotaging every financial decision you make, making you afraid to invest, making you guilty about wanting more, making you trade time for money, making you normalize debt, making you save in depreciating dollars, making you avoid learning about investing, making you buy things to look successful, making you work hard instead of smart, making you wait for retirement instead of building freedom now. Every single one of these programs benefits the system, not you. They keep you working, keep you consuming, keep you dependent, keep you controllable, keep you broke. But here's what changes everything. Now that you see the programming, you can start to dismantle it. You can question every belief you have about money. You can challenge every assumption. You can rewrite the code. You can reprogram yourself for wealth instead of poverty, for abundance instead of scarcity, for freedom instead of dependence. And it starts right now, right here, with awareness. Because you can't change what you can't see. But once you see it, once you understand how you were manipulated, you can take your power back. You can make different choices. You can learn what they didn't teach you. You can build what they said was impossible. You can become the person they never wanted you to be. Financially free, financially educated, financially empowered. So, how do you reprogram yourself? How do you undo decades of financial sabotage? It starts with education. Real financial education. Not the stuff they taught you in school. Not the stuff you see in commercials. Real knowledge about how money works. How wealth is built. How the financial system operates. How taxes work. How investments grow. How businesses scale. How assets generate income. You need to become a student of money. Read books. Take courses. Listen to podcasts. Watch videos like this one. Surround yourself with people who understand money. People who are building wealth. People who think differently. People who have broken free from the programming. Next, you need to audit your beliefs. Write down every belief you have about money. Every thought. Every assumption. Every feeling. Then ask yourself where that belief came from. Who taught you that? Is it actually true? Is it serving you? Or is it part of the programming keeping you broke? You'll be shocked at how many of your beliefs about money came from broke people, from parents who struggled, from teachers who worked for salary, from friends who are in the same financial situation you're trying to escape. Why would you take financial advice from people who aren't financially successful? Why would you let their programming become your reality? You wouldn't take health advice from someone who's sick. You wouldn't take relationship advice from someone who's divorced. So why are you letting broke people's beliefs about money run your financial life? Then you need to replace those broke beliefs with wealth beliefs. This is the reprogramming. You need to install new software. Money is abundant and flows to me easily. I create massive value, and wealth is my natural result. I am worthy of financial success. I learn from wealthy people and apply what they teach. I use debt strategically to acquire income-producing assets. I invest consistently in things that appreciate. I build systems that generate income without my constant presence. I focus on building wealth, not looking wealthy. I work smart and use leverage to scale. I am building financial freedom now, not waiting for retirement. These new beliefs need to be repeated daily, written down, spoken out loud, visualized, internalized, until they become your new programming, your new operating system. But beliefs alone aren't enough. You need action. You need to make different choices, different decisions, different moves. If you've been programmed to save in a bank account, start investing. Even if it's just $50 a month, open a brokerage account, buy index funds, start learning about stocks. If you've been programmed to trade time for money, start building something on the side, a business, a skill, a service, something that can scale beyond your personal time. If you've been programmed to use debt for consumption, stop. Cut up the credit cards. Pay off the consumer debt. Then learn how to use debt strategically for assets. If you've been programmed to look successful, stop. Sell the expensive car. Move to a cheaper place. Cut the lifestyle. Build wealth in silence. If you've been programmed to work hard, start working smart. Look for leverage. Look for systems. Look for ways to multiply your efforts. Every day, you have a choice. You can keep running the old programming. The programming that got you to where you are now. Broke at 40, stressed, trapped. Or you can run new programming. Programming that leads to wealth, freedom, options, peace of mind. It's not going to be easy. The old programming is deeply embedded. It's going to fight you. It's going to tell you this is too risky, too different, too scary. That's your programming trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you comfortable, trying to keep you exactly where you are. But safe and comfortable is what got you here. If you want different results, you need different programming. And here's what nobody tells you. The system doesn't want you to reprogram yourself. It doesn't want you to become financially educated. It doesn't want you to build wealth. It doesn't want you to become free. Because when you're free, you stop being controllable. You stop being dependent. You stop being profitable for them. You stop needing their jobs, their loans, their products, their system. You become dangerous, not to society, to the power structure that depends on keeping you exactly where you are. So when you start this journey, when you start deprogramming and reprogramming, don't be surprised when people around you resist, when they question you, when they tell you you're being irresponsible, when they say you're changing, when they make you feel guilty for wanting more. That's their programming responding to your transformation. They're comfortable with you being like them. Your growth threatens their worldview. Your success makes them question their choices. So they'll try to pull you back, not because they're bad people, but because their programming sees your deprogramming as a threat. This is why you need to be very careful about who you listen to, who you spend time with, who influences your thinking. You cannot reprogram yourself while surrounding yourself with people running the old programming. It's like trying to learn a new language while everyone around you speaks the old one. You need to immerse yourself in wealth consciousness, wealthy thinking, wealthy behavior, wealthy values. This might mean distancing yourself from some people, spending less time with certain friends, setting boundaries with family members who drain your energy and reinforce broke thinking. This doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who's serious about changing their financial life, someone who understands that proximity is power, that you become like the people you surround yourself with, that your network determines your net worth. Let me give you a practical framework for the next 90 days. This is your deprogramming and reprogramming plan. For the next 90 days, you're going to do 3 things every single day without exception. First, you're going to consume content that challenges your financial programming. Read 10 pages of a book about money. Listen to 30 minutes of a podcast about wealth building. Watch videos about financial freedom. This daily dose of new information will slowly overwrite the old programming. It will give you new perspectives, new strategies, new beliefs. Second, you're going to take one action toward building wealth. This could be investing money, learning a new skill, reaching out to a potential mentor, researching a business idea, cutting an expense. Whatever it is, one action per day. 90 actions in 90 days. That's momentum. That's reprogramming through behavior. Third, you're going to journal about your relationship with money. Write down what you're feeling, what you're believing, what you're struggling with. This creates awareness. It exposes the programming. It lets you see patterns. And what you can see, you can change. If you do these 3 things every day for 90 days, your financial life will transform, not because some magic happened, but because you systematically dismantled the old programming and installed new programming. You became a different person, and different people get different results. The version of you that was programmed to fail financially will cease to exist. A new version will emerge, one that's programmed for wealth, for abundance, for freedom, for success. But you have to commit. You have to be consistent. You have to push through the resistance, through the fear, through the doubt, through the criticism, through the discomfort. Because on the other side of that discomfort is everything you've been wanting: financial peace, options, freedom, control, power over your own life. Now I want to address something that might be going through your mind right now. You might be thinking, is it really too late for me? I'm already over 40. I've already wasted so much time. I'm so far behind. Can I really turn this around? And the answer is absolutely yes. But only if you start now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you have more money. Not when you feel ready. Now, today, this moment. Because here's what happens. Every day you wait is another day the old programming runs. Another day you stay stuck. Another day you don't build wealth. Another day closer to 60 or 70 still broke. Still stressed. Still trapped. Time is the one asset you can't get back. You can make more money. You can gain more knowledge. You can build more skills. But you can't make more time. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for confidence. Start messy. Start scared. Start small. But start. And here's what's going to happen when you do. At first, nothing will seem to change. You'll learn new things but still feel broke. You'll take action but not see immediate results. You'll question whether this is working, whether you're wasting your time, whether you should just accept your situation. This is a valley of despair. It's where most people quit. They don't see instant results, so they assume it's not working. But this is exactly where the magic happens. This is where the old programming is fighting the new programming, where your brain is rewiring, where new neural pathways are being built, where your identity is shifting. If you push through this phase, if you keep going when nothing seems to be changing, you'll hit the tipping point. And suddenly everything shifts. Opportunities appear. Money flows. Investments grow. Your income increases. Your net worth rises. And you'll look back and realize that all those days where nothing seemed to be happening, everything was actually happening beneath the surface. The programming was being rewritten. The foundation was being laid. The transformation was taking place. But you'll never reach that tipping point if you quit in the valley. So I'm telling you right now, when it gets hard, when you doubt yourself, when you want to go back to your old ways, remember why you started. Remember what it felt like to be trapped, to be stressed, to be broke, to be powerless. Remember that feeling and use it as fuel. Use it as motivation. Use it as the reason you keep going when your programming tells you to stop. Because the only thing worse than being broke at 40 is being broke at 50 or 60 or 70 with the same regrets, the same excuses, the same programming. Don't let that be you. You have the power to change this right now, today, this moment. So here's what I want you to do after you finish watching this video. I want you to make a decision, not a wish, not a hope, not an intention, a decision. Decide that you are done being controlled by programming you didn't choose. Decide that you are going to learn what they didn't teach you. Decide that you are going to build wealth no matter how long it takes. Decide that you are going to break free from the financial matrix. Write that decision down. Say it out loud. Tell someone. Make it real. Then take the first action. Right now, before you do anything else, open a brokerage account. Buy a book about investing. Watch another video about wealth building. Reach out to someone who's financially free. Do something, anything, because the moment you take action is the moment everything changes. That's when you stop being a victim of the programming and become the programmer of your own life. And if this video opened your eyes, if it made you see things differently, if it gave you hope that you can turn this around, then share it. Share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Someone who's stuck. Someone who's programmed. Someone who's given up. You might change their life. And while you're at it, subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell, because I'm going to keep bringing you content that challenges the programming, that tells you the truth they don't want you to know, that helps you build the wealth they said was impossible. This is just the beginning. You've taken the first step. You've seen the programming. Now you need to commit to the deprogramming process, to the reprogramming journey, to becoming someone different, someone wealthy, someone free. And I'm going to be here every step of the way, giving you the knowledge, the strategies, the mindset, and the truth you need to make it happen. Your financial life up until now was not your fault. You were programmed, manipulated, set up to fail. But from this moment forward, it's your responsibility. You can't change the past. You can't get back the years you lost. But you can change what happens next. You can take control. You can break free. You can build wealth. You can create freedom. You can live life on your terms. But only if you choose to. Only if you commit. Only if you take action. The programming wants you to stay comfortable, to stay safe, to stay stuck. But you're better than that, stronger than that, more capable than that. You just needed to see the truth. And now you have. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let this be another video you watch and forget? Another moment of inspiration that fades? Or are you going to let this be the turning point? The moment everything changed? The day you decided enough was enough and started building the life you deserve? That choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose now. Your future self is counting on you.